So the trailers for this movie have made, and the posters have made the very bold claim that this is the animated musical of the year. And all I gotta say is, do you want to bet money on that?
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar.
Ah! Ugly Dolls. This is probably going to be an ugly review, I'm going to say. So while everybody else goes to see Endgame a second time, I went to see Endgame a second time last night, and I woke up in the afternoon to go see this movie. Okay, so we can all agree the trailers for this movie freaking sucked. Like, they sucked. None of them were good. They were all just complete bullcrap. Like, this is going to be the most cliche, annoying, useless piece of crap of 2019. So I thought this movie was going to suck. I didn't think it'd be the worst movie of the year bad, but I thought, this is going to be bad. This is going to be one of the worst movies of the year. Might make it into my top 10 bad. It looked just bad to me. Like, it didn't look terrible. I mean, it kind of looked terrible. I don't know. It looked bad to me. But yeah. So the premise of this movie is that there's this town called Uglyville, and everybody in Uglyville's happy except for this one girl who I can't remember the name of because she's that generic. It's like, I want to be owned by a kid. You know, I want to be owned by a kid. So she goes with this pipe, and then she goes to the Institute of Perfection, and I remember all this somehow. And then she goes into, and then she's like, I want to go meet a kid. And then we have our movie now. Like I already said, the trailers for this movie sucked. And honestly, if you really look at this entire movie's point, I don't know why this movie exists. Like, Ugly Dolls, I know what they are. Most people might just think, oh, that's an interesting premise. Why are we getting Ugly Dolls? But no, Ugly Dolls are a product. Like, there's actual things from years ago. Like, I don't know when, but it was a while ago. I remember being a little kid and my sister like, look, I got an Ugly Doll. It's so ugly. I don't remember the whole scenario, but I remember my sister had an Ugly Doll. And I remember her, like, forgetting about it in, like, 3 days of having it. It was, like, one of those, like, big toys that all the kids like for a month. And then everybody just forgot about it. And then the cynical minds of Hollywood, weirdly enough, not Sony, thought, let's make a movie out of this. Somebody cares. Why? Ugly Dolls are too recent for it to cap on nostalgia. Ugly Dolls are too old for it to be a new trend or to be like the Emoji Movie, which, I'm sorry I mentioned that horrible movie's name. But it's not like where that is. Emojis were never a trend. They never were. They were just something on text. I guess they kind of were. Not in 2017. The point is that this movie's pointless. And some people don't even know that because Ugly Dolls are so not famous. But yes, it is an actual product. And but the main reason why this movie all exists is not because we want to capitalize on the money of Ugly Dolls. We want to have a movie where we can have a bunch of musical artists. We'll make money off of having musical artists. I don't even know who's in it. I know Pitbull's in it. Everybody enjoys Pitbull teaming up with T-Series, don't they? Yeah, Pitbull's in it. I think Charlie XCX, I don't know. Who freaking cares? Who cares? Which is where I'll lead into that the musical numbers in this movie suck. They're not the most glaring problem with the film, but every single musical score, when they're repeated, I think, shut up. There's this one song that's in the first trailer, and it's like, you know how every single musical opens up with everybody dancing around the city, and everybody's good, life is good in the city, and they love their life in the city, but they want something more. And that's the opening musical number of this movie. Every single musical number is a completely bland and generic song. I hated the musical number on this movie. Not as bad as My Little Pony the movie. But the worst part about this movie might be Pitbull. Actually, I don't know. But one of the best parts is that Lil Pitbull, keep calling him Lil Pump, Pitbull does not get a song in this movie. And I was so grateful. But genuinely, yeah, this is the most cliche movie I've seen all year. You thought, what else has been cliche this year? I'm actually having a hard time. Well, if it's cliche, I'm not remembering it. There's not been a lot of movies this year that have been like, I bet I'm missing something. I bet I'm just not thinking about it in my head. But there are movies this year that are cliche, like Nancy Drew was super cliche. But maybe, how about this? You guys remember the stupid Goosebumps 2, that movie? Goosebumps 2, whatever that movie was very annoying to me. I hate that movie because it's so cliche, and it even recognizes in the middle of the movie, Jack Black says, oh, my writing was so cliche back then. So they know they're super cliche, and they go with it. But the separation between this movie and that movie, and why I genuinely like this movie a lot less than that movie, is because That movie's not supposed to be taken seriously. While I'd rather a more original plot, and I still really hate that movie, this movie's supposed to be taken seriously. Ugly Dolls wants you to take it seriously. It really does. To be fair, guys, there are moments in this movie where I was thinking, I'll give this movie a chance. Sometimes I go into this movie just wanting to hate them. And yeah, I kind of went into this movie like, I'm gonna hate it. I don't want to hate it. I'm gonna hate it. And I walked into the movie and I watched it. And I wanted to give it a chance. And it could have. It really could have. But this movie sucks. It really sucks. This movie is god-awful. I hated every millisecond of watching it. It is so bad. Oh my god. Every character is so boring. None of them I liked. I hated every character. They were all just annoying. Pandering bull crap. And the main villain, or whatever he's supposed to be, is not even a very dislikable guy. Like, you might think, oh my god, you're so bad. But his motivations of him, like, you have to look perfect to be perfect. Or, you don't look, you're ugly, so you're not perfect. Or, I'm perfect. And it's so overbearingly forced that he was just not dislikable. And there was a point at the end where it's like, no, please don't murder me. And I'm like, yeah, don't murder him. He's not the worst guy ever. His motivation in the movie is actually, well, it's like, it's not a terrible motivation. Not props to the movie, because you're supposed to hate him. And I actually thought, you know what? I see where you're coming from, bad guy. You know what? You get those ugly dolls. They suck and they're annoying. There's also these, like, 3 girls that are like, oh my gosh, Lou's amazing, and they, like, do his bids and whatnot, and I hated them. They were so overbearing. At least this movie didn't try to capture on pop culture. At least. I was also kind of impressed by the fact that the movie's 87 minutes long. It is short, but the movie feels like 2.5, 3 hours. I'm not joking. It's so boring. It's not like Goosebumps 2, where the whole time, yes, there are moments in this movie where, like, Pitbull danced around playing some dubstep, and I was, my head was in my hands. I was just cringing my eyes out. I went to this movie alone. DJ Wolf didn't go with me. I'm not gonna let you forget that, DJ Wolf. So I went into it alone. So I actually I sat up in the back corner of the theater, one family towards the front, and all the kids, they thought it was hysterical. They loved the movie. They're like, oh my gosh, that was so emotional. It was amazing. It impacted me on a deep level. While I was sitting here in the back, kind of whispering my own freaking criticisms to the movie, like, why the frick is that happening? What the frick? There's one conversation in this movie, I just want to mention this real quickly, that absolutely, entirely, makes no sense. Nothing they say makes any sense. None of the words they say make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. It might make sense to someone who's older than me, but it didn't make any sense to me. There's this one somewhat twist that happens at the end of the movie, and like everybody's like, oh my god, what? And it's not an impactful twist at all. When they actually tell you that that's the case in the opening scene of the movie, it's shown to you, this is how it works. And then towards the end of the movie, they realize it, and it's supposed to be like, oh no! But when you're watching, you're like, I knew that an hour ago. You guys suck. I could not stand the main character in this movie. I don't remember her name at all. I could forget about her later. But I could not stand her character at all. She's so annoying. Most people in this movie are not really actors or actresses at all. They really aren't. None of them are. They're all just kind of there. Like, they're all singers. Pitbull has no talent. He can't show any emotion. He sucked in the movie. No character in the movie actually works to me. Like, all of them are just cookie cutter. Like, the most cookie cutter characters ever. There's one thing this movie tries to do, and what it tries to do is this. You have flaws. You embrace those flaws. You be unique. You are unique and different from everybody else. That makes you special. Except for the fact of the matter is that is not a bad message at all. It's a completely forced message that, yes, I learned that years ago when I felt like a reject. And guess what? It doesn't help. It really is not a message that helps. Like, just saying it doesn't work. You can't just be like, no, my flaws make you unique. when your flaws that you think are ruining you, in your minds, make you not very good. So that is not helping anybody right there. Your point doesn't work. And it's, like I said, telling kids that their flaws and whatnot make them unique, not a bad message. It does suck when you see it a million times. It's the same problem with the Emoji Movie little message at the end when it's like, be who you are, which is kind of the same message as this movie. Like, be who you are. You be you. And that is the problem, because it's like, okay, I've seen that message a million times, and that's the same problem here. I have seen this message a freaking million times. It's not creative or interesting at all. Oh my god. The entire movie, it gradually gets worse. The movie gradually becomes... It's mainly because it feels so long. The musical numbers are really stretched out. They're really long and boring. Every scene in the movie is really stretched out, just to almost reach the hour-and-a-half mark. And because of this stretching out, it's so boring. It's one of the problems with the Grinch movie from last year. That movie has almost nothing to do. So it stretches itself out to just 90 minutes long. And it becomes super boring. Same here. Only this movie, I just hated more than the Grinch. The Grinch had competent animation, a fine role by Benedict Cumberbatch, just more I liked about it in general. This movie, what it has, is nothing. It is literally, it's less annoying than the Emoji Movie because the Emoji Movie is so much more pandering and forced, so I will always hate that movie more than this movie. But the worst part about Ugly Dolls is that it's perfectly the most annoying movie of the year. I think this movie is as bad, like in quality, it's as bad as Wonder Park and Replicas. And to add on to that, it just makes me mad. I just feel mad thinking about this movie. This movie annoyed me. It frustrated me. The entire time, I just felt mad. Like, I just wanted to leave. Why does it says Ugly Dolls at the end of the credits? I'm like, I'm out. I ran out of that theater. I was so mad. I hated this movie. It absolutely, completely fails. It's so bad. Nothing in the movie works at all. I'm doing it. I'm going to give Ugly Dolls a 1 out of 10. Don't see this movie. Don't take anybody to see this movie. Don't mention this movie's existence. Just think, okay, that movie looks like it sucks. Now let's go move on with our life so we can see Detective Pikachu next week! Sorry, I got a little mad there. That was actually all kind of genuine, by the way. Alright, what do you guys think on the trailers for Ugly Dolls? Because none of you saw it. You didn't, right? And yeah, I actually kind of wish I saw The Intruder today because that movie looked more funny. But unfortunately, my theater's like, we're not playing you that movie. Come on, MTS, you love seeing bad movies, but you're not seeing that movie. And I regret paying money to see this movie, but at least now I can tell everybody and spread the word. Don't go see Ugly Dolls. Ugly Dolls sucks! Oh yeah, Detective Pikachu review next week, which I'm really excited for. That actually looks really good to me. So yeah, bye. This Detective Pikachu will show me that not all hope is lost in movies. Like how Ugly Dolls show me that all hope is lost.